Welcome to the CFG Game Cast episode number 261, live at LvlUp Expo. This is a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike to discuss the latest game topics from the previous week. We usually stream a new episode every week, but not this time. We are recording it, but we do set it up on YouTube and our Twitch page, twitch.tv/CFG Games, or YouTube at the CFG. Or if you don't like that, go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me today, I got the man of the hour. He doesn't sleep. He's just constantly up like freaking RoboCop. I got the 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I got Smitty in the second seat. What's going on, my dude?
Yeah, it's been good. This has been and again, I hope, to the live audience here as well, I hope you guys have been having a great time here at LvlUp Expo. Again, this is probably the biggest level up that I've been a part of. I actually, I've worked here, I'm working here now as, just stage managing, helping out and whatnot. I've also emceed here at this stage as well. So just being able to see some of the old guests and some of the, people and some of the shows that I love, being able to interact with them, the amazing cosplays that we're seeing out there. Like, seriously, people are absolutely going out when it comes to the cosplays.
The cosplay, I've been doing cosplay conventions for almost 10 years now. I've been covering cosplay conventions for 10 years, and just to see on Friday, the amount on cosplays and the amount of hardcore cosplays that were going on, I was like, oh my God, dude, these people stepped their games up. Folks just went hardcore on it. That's awesome. It was really awesome to see.
It has, but unfortunately that means that we have not been able to game this weekend at all. But what I have been playing, I recently got and I don't know if you guys have a PS Portal. I was very on the other side of those. I was like, that's trash. Why would anybody get it? I don't understand it. This is before the update with the streaming games, so you can now do their streaming as opposed to being connected directly to a PlayStation. You can still be connected to a PlayStation, but you have the streaming service. Complete game changer for me. I've been digging hard into Dave the Diver. I had heard good things about it. I finally got a chance to actually play it. So I've just been enjoying that. Obviously a little spattering of Marvel Rivals, some Marvel Snap. Those are my main games. A little bit of Once Human. I love survival games as well. So other than that, it's just been busy with the work. I'm working a double tomorrow. We gotta feed them kids, baby.
Being an adult sucks. Simple as that. Let's just say that. But as for me, man, I'm just going to probably steal his PS Portal when he's not looking. I'm now hooked on it too. But for real though, I have been it's actually kind of funny because I know last week you were like, I'm the part of the problem about the Switch 2. And my stupid ass, I decided, let me just go get the reserve Switch 2. And I'm like, and you didn't even do it.
I didn't.
So I'm the true problem of the reason why they're charging it. So yeah, it's my fault. I didn't say I wasn't a hypocrite, so keep that in mind. But anyways, I've been doing that, getting ready for that. I can't wait to go back home because Expedition 33 just came out. Yes. I love RPGs, so I cannot wait to check that one out. And I'm kind of on the fence of Oblivion because I played it and it had its time. It's cool to have a remaster, but I'm not in any dire hurry to play it again. So, it's going to be dude, after talking to some of the developers downstairs on the show floor and all the different kinds of cool stuff that's coming soon, it's going to be a busy summer. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be a real busy summer. So, but I know that. But normally though too, I'm also preoccupied most of my time. I love playing Marvel Rivals. Yeah. I'm just loving to play. Right now, I'm a Hulk main, but I do like playing with Emma Frost, and all Spider-Mans need to die. So
I agree.
But anyway, I don't want to talk about Marvel Rivals and me being as the hypocrite as I am now with the Switch 2. But I want. So let's go through the normal rigmarole that we like to do each and every week. So each of us usually does a topic of discussion in the world of video games in the previous week. But since we've been too preoccupied to do this this event. We want you, the viewers of the audience inside at LvlUp Expo, to be a part of the conversation as always. And we're just going to make it a nice round conversation about video game hot takes. So we want to know what your personal video game hot takes are. If you have more than one, if you have time, which I'm sure we definitely do.
I think we have time.
Yeah, we have time. If y'all have more than one, come back around and we'll definitely discuss with you and go from there. Anyone who shares a hot take, we will give you some awesome CFG swag along the way, saying thank you for sharing, and we will go from there. So does anyone have a hot take that they would like to share right now off the bat? No one. Crickets. Okay.
Well,
fair enough.
If you guys want to think about it or take a little bit of time,
we can start one off the table. You can go for it.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
We'll wait. Yeah. We'll give it a second here.
Okay.
All right. I'm excited.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So I do like Larian Studios and I like their games, but I personally think Baldur's Gate 3 should have won Game of the Year because it was released buggy and incomplete, and if it was another game like, I don't know, Cyberpunk, they would have taken a lot of flack for it.
Okay.
So eventually it did patch and it's a much playable state, but it was kind of annoying, having to play and it breaking or whatever and having to do it all over again.
Okay,
Yeah.
so basically, I just want to recap. So basically, you're saying that that because of like the status it was at the time, Game of the Year for like you don't understand what like you don't think it should have won Game of the Year. Is that correct?
Because of the way
it was. Yeah, that's fair enough to say. I would have. I forgot what the Game of the Years were for that during that time.
I think it was the year of like Armored Core 6, Final Fantasy 16. I can't.
There's nothing that really like stands out to me.
No, Game of the Year, I believe, we can check it up. I think Game of the Year was 2023. It was Game of the Year 2023. So I definitely will agree that it wasn't at its best peak state. But the one thing, this is a conversation though too. So there's no wrong or right on this. But I think in the way of how games are completed nowadays, they're not complete when they come out. But however, when Baldur's Gate did come out, it came out done. Like the story, like they didn't change anything. They didn't add the ending. The ending was like, oh, we're done with this at this part. We're going to finish some more once the official release was out, because during the time when it was in its beta phase, it was doing all of that for 2 years prior to when the game came out in 2023. Now, to say, was it a clean start? Absolutely not. You're right. It was not. It was definitely buggy. It definitely had some glitches and stuff like that. But to say that the game was the argument I guess would be like at its state and being a full game at the time as it was, and then they just patched whatever those bugs were along the way. I personally kind of give it a pass, because like, a game like Multiverses, they won Best Fighting Game of the Year. The game wasn't even in alpha stage when they won the Alpha Game of the Year. And then last year, before it canceled out, before it died out, it also was nominated for Fighting Game of the Year again 3 years later after when the first time happened. That doesn't make any sense. So, but Baldur's Gate, I don't know. But what was their competition?
So the 2023 Game of the Year nominees were Baldur's Gate 3, Alan Wake 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, which I didn't agree with that. Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay, so
I mean,
argumentatively, I would agree. I would agree, but I mean, to be better to, I don't know. It was still a better game.
What you value.
That's true.
I think there's like so many people are frustrated with games being released incomplete.
Exactly.
Having that being nominated kind of.
Yeah.
It's kind of a slap in the face. Not only that, because the other games that we listed, those games didn't have crazy bugs. It was complete, they were finished. So it's kind of unfair to those games that did have something complete. And don't get me wrong, Baldur's Gate 3 is amazing.
Yeah. But Baldur's Gate...
There's a difference between number one absolute and like number 2 and number 3.
Yeah, right, yeah.
No, I mean that's a really good conversation to have, because like I said, like I'm looking at it as that the game was complete, but it wasn't polished. Yeah, let's say that.
Then it's not complete.
Yeah, well, no. They're always going to be these weird glitches that you can't help. Like you can't go into like Halo. We were talking about this last night.
Okay.
Halo Infinite when it came out. Halo Infinite came out as a multiplayer game initially. They said they were going to add story later on because they weren't done with the story. Was that game complete? It technically, in my mind, it wasn't complete. It was still free, but still to say that now the game is officially out, but then all we have is this, and then we have to wait 6 months, and then during that time they were like, oh, we can't add co-op. Halo has been co-op ever since day one, and then you're telling me, so like that in that sense. That's not a complete game, but Baldur's Gate was a complete game. It finished. They didn't change anything in the story. It was just that the game wasn't refined to its max to it because of these random glitches. But to be fair, the different kinds of glitches, the different kinds of things that you have to do, especially the questions and the options and all the stuff you have to do, is not something that no one would know until you experience it enough, until you get enough people to be like, oh, this is what's happening.
Yeah, there's gonna. I get that. I think it's a valid. It's a very valid one.
Very off the bat.
Especially off the.
Thank you.
Please, please come up.
What you think?
Who's up next? Anybody else have another hot take that they'd like to share?
What's that shirt here?
What you got for us?
Okay. Hi, I'm Anna. I'm tired of everybody trying to crib on the FromSoft RPG formula in every single game after Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Elden Ring. Elden Ring specifically. Everybody's like, let's do this, and everybody's been trying to do it, and it keeps going, and it keeps happening, and it keeps happening, and it never stops. And then I'm like, hey, have you played Armored Core yet? They're like, what's Armored Core? I'm like, dude, it was one of their first titles. Try it. It's fun. It's good.
I didn't know that was FromSoft.
Yeah, that was FromSoft.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I've watched a lot of people who come from that FromSoft RPG side try the Armored Core stuff, and I've watched them have absolute meltdowns, and I'm like, that's not the point.
Right.
That's not the point. You're not supposed to brute force your way through that game. They send you back to the garage in order to build your mecha better.
Yes.
Don't brute force it. But I've talked to a bunch of streamers, and they're like, I want to still treat it like Dark Souls. It's not.
That's
Dark
crazy.
Souls.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to make sure. So basically, it's not like the fact of it's the fact that it's not a one-trick pony. You're not from software. It's not a one-trick pony with the Dark Souls and stuff. It's like if you I understand people love Dark Souls. I do. Fuck Wario, by the way, because sorry, that's an inside joke. But the whole thing is So no, you're totally right. I agree, but I just think that at this day and age, especially. I love the fact that to see Armored Core 6 to come out. I haven't unfortunately had the chance to try it out yet. Is it fun?
It's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
Armored Core.
I haven't finished my first run yet, but I'm like 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, you still got 2 more runs before you get the true ending. I'm like,
yeah.
Yes.
To see Armored Core 6 to come back like that way it is, and people are liking it. I love the fact because I was there when the first Armored Core was there on the original PlayStation 1, and then when I believe Armored Core 2 was on the PS2. And loved the game. I mean, but not a lot of people knew what From Software was, and still to this day, no one did. It sucks that that's what it is, but it had to take Dark Souls and the Souls-like to kind of get to bring them on the map. But now I kind of feel like From Software now kind of put themselves in a situation where they are now pigeonholed to be doing that for a long period of time, and they don't have a chance, like the level of creativity and chances. Because I mean, keep in mind, it's not just about Armored Core in that they've done so many other ones too. They just didn't resonate overall from the ringers. But I can understand the frustration for it, but. They seem like they're now starting to lead to just doing that, and that's why I'm kind of with you. Like I really hope that they don't, but
I want them to bring tension back. I want them to bring tension back. I miss that that game so much that I'm playing
Tenchu was hilarious.
Shadows
Yeah.
to fill that void.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know anything. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know much about From Software. As a matter of fact, I'm on the whole other side. I don't like Elden Ring. I don't like them games at all. I don't play games to get stressed out like that, son.
It was, you know, a lot of my friends, they were like, oh, you're from England. Why don't you play Bloodborne? I'm like,
No.
That's a weird.
That's a weird one.
but okay.
Yeah.
Bloodborne.
It's
Bloodborne
like-
was fun. A little frustrating. Did not throw my controller at my TV, which
See?
was nice. And then they were like, all right, cool. You finished Bloodborne. Try Elden Ring. I streamed that game for 9 months straight.
Uh-huh.
I am never touching that game ever again. And then everybody was like, nah, dude, you need to play the DLC. I'm like, all right, fine.
Well, you know what's like what's when it comes to streamers and stuff like that. Like people always want to stream what's in, like what's popular at the time and stuff. And then the only frame of reference that they have for certain games like that, especially with From Software, is an Elden Ring or a Dark Souls. They don't know. It's like, oh, this is from the people who made that game, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's like, hey, this isn't Dark Souls.
Yeah, that's the
but
thing.
it's just like.
Streaming, Armored Core 6.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, wait, this is the same.
But to be fair, though, when you want to look at it at that spectrum, that's also the kind of same thing when you look at gaming in general. Like,
Right.
I mean, because when you see a person that loves playing Fortnite, all they know is Fortnite or Roblox and stuff, then all they want to play are those kind of games. But then once you open up to then once they say, hey, stop playing this game, try playing a game that's not like that, and then it's like unforeseen territory in some of these people.
Yeah.
So like, but it's just that you just got. It's more of a fact that people just have to broaden their horizons where it comes to that, you know, like because. People who know, but then people who don't, it's unfortunate, you know. So it's like,
And so my hot take on the whole thing is, why are people still, you know, trying to adhere to that FromSoft RPG formula when clearly it doesn't work for you because you're not technically sound enough to pull it off? There's that one game that came out. It was Lords of the Fallen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is technically a sequel.
I mean, they can hit and miss. Like, I mean, like the most recent one, I think would you consider it First Berserker of Kazan?
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's not. I mean, you can't compare it to like a Dark Souls because I mean, it's a smaller company that did it, but it's actually a very fun game. Like I do have the time of my life trying messing with it. One closest to comparison I would say is Lies of P is a really good one. The Pinocchio story is actually insane. So like I would definitely love it. Yeah.
That's probably the only one that I've even thought about like possibly doing, just because it's like, ooh, I'll take some Pinocchio lore. Like that seems crazy and dark,
very
and
interesting.
you know,
Very interesting take of what they do with that. And I would urge anyone if who loves those kind of games to try Eliza P or so. So that's cool. Come up here. We'll get you something here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone else has a hot take that they'd like to share?
Yep. Come on up. What's your name?
I'm Edward.
Edward? How you doing?
Good. Not gonna lie, shit kinda cold, but I feel like any problem y'all got with video games in general, almost like 99% of them can be solved by going indie.
By going indie?
Every problem y'all, if you feel like you're a person that like really enjoys their video games, and you're like looking at like what's coming out with all the AAA stuff, and you're just like, man, all this shit kind of slop. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
There's an indie equivalent to that game that's going on right now that will solve all your problems.
I agree with you 100%. And I think we're kind of in a culling. We've seen it in Hollywood too, where basically, I don't know, people just have run out of originality or imagination, or really they're just looking to fill their pockets with money.
Or risk.
It kind of goes back to what you were saying too, in terms of the Dark Souls thing, or even like a Fortnite, where everyone's just trying to replicate this thing that was a huge hit. They made a bunch of money, and then everyone is taking this uninspired approach to, let's basically try to replicate this thing that they did to try to get this money. I think right now is the perfect time to get into indie games and in the indie sphere. Now I feel like is the time for them to really get their spotlight because of the trash that the AAA games that we're seeing, just the uninspired stories and mechanics and things of that nature. I feel feel that, now more than ever would be the time to jump into the indie scene, because I mean, look at all the layoffs and just the stuff, and they're still saying, I know and I understand too that some of that impact is still trickling down from COVID and all those shutoffs, and they when everybody was inside and all the eyeballs were there, they were throwing tons of money and building that stuff up. Obviously things kind of normalized again, and they're saying, oh crap, we're spending way too much money, we need to trim away. So we're seeing all these layoffs and things like that, and right now the game industry is super volatile. So it's like, it's not a place that, I mean, personally, that I would say, hey, yeah, maybe that's something that you look into or go into. If you're going to do that, or if I were to say that, I would say look at an indie, do it your way, or do it to where you're not beholden to a company or shareholders that are going to have, whether you like it or not, some sort of influence in the product that you're trying to put out. To me, it just makes more sense to stick in an indie route. And again, that's going to be a lot tougher. It's going to be, blood, sweat, and tears. But you're going to get that, not only the satisfaction, from yourself as the person creating the game, but then folks that hopefully are going to be able to enjoy that game. And that's where you see things like a PAL World or something like that just completely explode, or even Helldivers 2, and people are like, holy crap! I didn't realize that this was going to be so popular. And then obviously they kind of fumble the bag with the Sony thing, but I would tend to agree with what you're saying. I agree.
Well, it's actually kind of interesting to me, because I've always thought that how they treat AAAs to the levels that they do is it's very fascinating. The level of creativity. I mean, it's weird, because a big company, big companies and stuff, don't look at it as I don't think they look at creativity. I mean, this is just an opinion. Creativity as a major factor. They just want to figure out what the return is going to be for the said game that they create. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest issues I've always had was that they could dump the level of microtransactions, the level of free, what would they say? Yeah, live service. Yeah, they know, they've shown. You see the history of live service games, of the graveyard that it gives, and they're still on that wagon saying, we are going to make the next live service game so we can get a continual amount of money that's going to constantly come in. They blamed back to multiverses. They blamed not multiverses. Dragon Age. They blamed. They were saying that the reason why it failed was it wasn't a live service game. And then I was
insane.
like, "That's
what an
freaking
insane thing to say."
That's an insane thing to say about something like that. And it's funny, because the games that are successful when it comes to that, let's say Fortnite. Fortnite was an absolutely was incredibly lucky. If people remember what Fortnite was originally, when it was nowhere near the shell of what it is now to this day. It was a builder,
tower defense.
Yeah, it was a tower defense.
Yeah.
And then the only reason why it survived was they decided that they saw what PUBG was doing at the time, and then they made it into a special mode, and then they realized that the engine was good enough for it to be standalone. But then now, when people saw that, and then they're trying to strike gold twice on it, it's for these big companies, they're just trying to put all that money in on we got to find the next Fortnite, find the next Fortnite, over the level of creativity and stuff that indies do involve, and with small with even with less money but more success, because there's not a ridiculous expectation that they put things through. And I think that's the real big problem with gaming it is to this day, especially with AAA games, because how rare is it for us, as a consumer, to get a game without hearing any of the BS saying, "Oh, this mode is going to come out in 6 months." You paid $70 in the first day. It's almost as if you're just buying a hamburger and you get half of that burger and then wait 6 months for the second half. It's dumb. It's it's just. I don't know, man. It's unfortunate. I totally agree with you when it comes to in that sense. It's not we're not in a really strong spot of where it is with big gaming companies. But the best thing to do is to support the indie scene, because the indie scene is probably the way to go if you're I mean, I don't want to be like a dude on the pedestal there, but to be a true gamer, to be playing indie games, but it kind of is the case though.
Right.
Now, unless you're expecting to get unless you're expecting to still play your Final Fantasies or your Marios and stuff like that. But like if you're trying to, it feels like AAAs are just now chasing the dollar at this point.
Yep.
So yeah.
Right. And one more thing though, like, yeah, if you're looking for recommendations, like, Souls like that was here, you would have loved like Pseudo Regalia, like. Just That Radio has been a dead franchise forever. You got Bum Rush, Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
If you're still digging your platformers, your Souls like, there's Hollow. There's just so much good shit.
There is. Yeah, like I love like Symphony of the Night. Like one of my favorite games is Symphony of the Night. There's so many of those games that out there that are just. I won't say they're just as good. Yeah, Bloodstain. Obviously, yeah, Bloodstain. And but there's like even what's it called? The one with the insects. I cannot remember. Just went blank in my head.
Bugsnax?
No, not Bugsnax. Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight's a good one. Bugsnax. It's like, no, not the PS4. Yeah, there's so many different options that you can go with it from the indie developers and to support the indies and stuff like that. No, but you're totally right. It's like, you don't have to chase the big one, and then, but there's like smaller groups that do the same thing, if not better.
Agree.
All that chasing is like such a victim because, like, man, I kind of miss Brawl Stars.
Brawl Stars. Is that the one with the cars?
That's the one with like it's kind of like it's kind of
like Smash Brothers.
No, not.
You're just throwing things out.
Okay.
It
Brawl
was
Stars.
ish, but like top down brawler.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that.
What did you say it was called?
Brawl Stars.
Brawl Stars. Yes,
you? Yeah.
I have played Brawl Stars.
Okay.
I enjoyed Brawl Stars. That was like a lot of fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun.
Multiple clones of like games that were just kind of like that.
Yeah.
They were all live service, and then they're all dead, and they're all dead now.
Yes.
It's unfortunate.
That just makes me mad.
Yeah, but no, but thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Come up here, we'll get you something. Here
Yeah.
for you. All right, is there anyone else that has a hot take?
If not, I'm going to throw out a hot take real quick. This is something I truly believe in, and I feel as the years have kind of gone by, Microsoft and Xbox, we keep seeing them and hearing now more and more, you can play anywhere. We're going to have our games everywhere. I believe that within the next 10 years, and I don't know that necessarily that they will be a gaming leader, but I think that they are going to be towards the top. And why I believe that is that they have positioned themselves to do so. Again, with the play everywhere. I could play on a fridge. I could play in my car. I could play literally everywhere. Game Pass right now. Look at the Nintendo Switch 2 prices, the subscription and stuff like that. That stuff keeps creeping up higher and higher to where an Xbox Series S is cheaper than a Switch 2, right? It's going to be cheaper than a Switch 2? Yeah, there you go. So Xbox has positioned themselves to be that family company, to be the folks to where it's like, hey, just get Game Pass. Hey, you can play on your TV, you can play over there, your phone, wherever, it doesn't matter. And we're not going to completely break your wallet by doing so. And I think it's going to force other companies too to have to look at them. Because again, Xbox has never been known for the games that they make or anything like that. So they conceded basically to the console war, saying that, hey, we're in third, it ain't gonna happen. They've moved on, and I feel now that they are ahead of everybody else in terms of having that infrastructure for being able to do streaming gaming and playing basically everywhere you want to. Yeah, absolutely.
I think their issue is that they just don't want to. They have the infrastructure, but they don't have the execution. That said, get a Steam Deck.
True.
Well, here's my thing with it, and I'm not saying that I think Microsoft's in a way better position than it once was in the where they were as a gaming studio, but they just need to call themselves a publisher at this point. I just don't understand why it's not, because there's no console wars anymore. We already know the overall winner of that is truly, in my opinion, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Because Nintendo is always when Nintendo releases a game, it could be win, lose, or draw. They sold us freaking cardboard for crying out loud, and it was successful. That's what that is a weird statement.
That should tell you everything you need to
that's
know.
crazy. And they released in December. They're like, hey, we're just gonna release an alarm clock, and then it's like with alarm. I'm like, what is going on with this company? It's like by paper, they'll be like, these people are insane. But no, but like I just think that like where Xbox had to pivot because they couldn't compete where it came to that. They built the infrastructure that's already set where they could easily say, hey, we have the infrastructure involved, then lease out the stuff to whatever company they're wanting to do. But to say that like, they're becoming better as a game developer because they bought up with the crazy amounts of developer studios and stuff like that. It's cool that they're putting investment into it, but to say that they're going to be the leader of it, I don't know. Well, it's going to be. It's
Mark my word.
It's not going to. Like, we're not going to say like the next Xbox get like. Halo. When you think of Xbox, you think of Halo and stuff like that. We don't know what the next IPs that they have in store, especially with all the new stuff that's coming in store. But it's such an uphill battle. For it, but if they've already conceded that they're not going to win the console side of things, then it's like, okay, we know then you're going to be doing digital, you're going to be doing software. So actually, I don't even understand why you even want to be having Xbox consoles when you have like so many options to play with Steam Deck and stuff like it, all these different kinds of things. So yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. It's like the way they pivoted is an incredible way. It's just that like I just don't see them being the top of it, but they're going to be a big studio for that for the industry as well as a publisher.
Okay,
publisher developer.
We'll see. 2035. Xbox everywhere. Sponsored by Xbox right back there.
We'll see what that is. You know what? I will say, I will do it. I have a hot take too, I guess. I'll put one hot take on myself, and I'm going to probably put myself out here because it's funny. I'm the RPG guy in the group, so I love playing RPGs and stuff like that. And but the game that to this day, I just will never understand Zelda. Why people love Zelda so much, and I would love to tell me that I have always hated Zelda.
That's crazy. It's so crazy.
I mean, I hope. Am I the only one out there that thinks that? Because like I've always like every time when I bring it up and I say I hate Zelda. Do you hate Zelda? Who hates Zelda? Oh, okay. What? I guess I'm the only man standing on this. I will go on the beat of the drum. Even if we had a full class here, I would say I hate Zelda.
I don't understand it though. I don't understand the hate for it.
Well, you don't understand the hate for it. Well, okay. You know what's funny? Even just the fact, like, even if they're standalone stories, the core story is Link saves Zelda. We've been doing that story for 35 years, right? Is one. And like even the side stories was to that point kind of in a way too. Even though it wasn't Ganon was the bad guy, it was some other entity that was doing it. Then they decided to put the twist last year with Echoes that you're playing Zelda now, and now you have to save Link. It's like, oh, it took them that long to realize they may want to change that crap up. Okay, fine. But but the thing that makes it to me so annoyed about it is that every Zelda is it's a different mechanic. Like basically, it was like with Breath of the Wild. What was Breath of the Wild's one? I don't even remember. I don't even know. But the second one, what's the second one called?
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom was basically build your own gears and stuff like that and everything. Wind Waker was sailing, which goddamn I hated that so much. I hated the sailing so much in that. That was so bad. And the ones where you're the werewolf. I
don't even know. No, clearly I have missed some Zeldas.
Each one had a weird mechanic. It was like I think that was the Wii, the one on the Wii. Twilight Princess was the shadow one, or was when you morphed into a wolf. Then you have the one that was in the sky. I'm terrible with the names. I'm terrible. Skyward Sword was the one with islands floating in the sky and stuff. It's just I'm just like over it, man. Like I've always been over it. I will say one more thing. I will say the one thing that I will say I love is A Link to the Past. I love A Link to the Past. That was a good one. But like all the other ones, I'm just like, okay, guys, I'm not.
Ocarina of Time?
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh! Ocarina of Time is amazing, though.
I can't do Ocarina, dude. I beat it, but I was like, this is stupid.
That's crazy.
All right. So here's the thing.
What's your thing?
Your issue with Zelda?
Oh wait, go on the mic. We gotta yeah.
I think your issue with Zelda is that you're treating a puzzle game like a traditional RPG.
Oh, absolutely not.
Your approach to this series is like, you're not melding with the approach to the series that way you want to do it.
No.
Like essentially, when it comes to Zelda games, like the big draw is like the RPG feel, but a lot of it comes down to like the puzzle solving, like given these mechanics in like every game, and then like you play the game going around like figuring out how like each thing like interacts with each other, and like you progress through it. When you think of the Zelda series more akin to a puzzle RPG than a traditional one, then I think you might enjoy it a little more.
No, here's the funny thing about that, because it's kind of a nice little way where you're telling me you got to get good in a way, but that's fine. I'm just kidding with you. But I will say this though, I think that it's like I play puzzle RPGs all the time. I love them. I do. But you cannot deny the fact the water temple in 64 in Zelda 64. Yeah, that was just garbage. Is one. But in my
like an actual soft block, and honestly, yeah. Out of all those Zeldas, that one, even Zelda fans agree, water temple is ass.
That was like, what is going on with that? But I just don't like the. Like I said, I love Link to the Past. Link to the Past was nothing but puzzle solving with it, and even the sequel that just recently came out of it, I can't remember what it was called. The sequel that just recently came out, I loved it. It was just the style and the system and stuff worked.
Tears of the Kingdom?
No. There was a sequel of Link to the Past, but I can't find it.
I did not. Yeah, I did not know that.
That one was like that. I love that too, but maybe just 3D Zeldas is not my thing. But I just think that the problem is just for instance, the ones that came out on the Switch. It reminded me of Witcher. Witcher 3 is somewhat similar. Is somewhat similar with how they did the open world system, but it just felt. It felt more empty when it came to Zelda in itself. I'm not comparing the two, but I'm just saying the style of it was kind of like, because there was more of an open world system that they were just introducing in that world. I think it was better for Zelda to go that way, but I just am not interested in it. What?
A Link Between Worlds?
Link Between Worlds. I love
I've never even heard of that.
A Link Between Worlds. Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, dude. Like for some reason, I'm sorry. Crazy. I will die on the hill that I will never get the Zelda fame. I am not a Zelda fan. I have tried it. I've done it so many times. I played them and I've beaten them, and I still.
He literally played like all of them. That's the crazy part. He hates the game, but he plays every single one of them. I don't understand.
You can't hate to hate. You have to try it out. I mean, you can't deal with it. And so that's the way I look at it. And then
honestly, the fact that you play all the games and you say you just like them gives you a more nuanced thing, and I feel like that's a lot better than being like, other people that don't play games and they're like, man, I hate that game.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go.
So I'll give you that.
Yeah, there you go. I know you have no idea, man. It's like so many people. And then there's another one too that makes the people are probably going to hate me on that too. But we'll see. But before I do that, is there anyone else that wants to come get some free swag from us here? Just share a hot take. Does anyone have a hot take in video games that they'd like to share with us?
I do have an actual hot take.
Okay, wait. We'll get him and then we'll get him first. Yes.
Yeah. That's one that I'm always conflicted on, because I do love the Zelda games, but
no offense,
I can't really. I mean, you were saying, like, you've played every single one of them. If you've played them and you still don't like them,
I have played the worst one, which was on the CDI back in the day, the weird 2D animated one that came out. There's two of them. I have played those. I already knew those were terrible, but I just had to hurt myself. So there you go. Okay, so there you go. How you doing, sir?
Good.
I'm doing good.
My name's Armando. I was going to talk about Rockstar games a bit.
Okay.
I feel like in the past they were very centric on telling a story.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think over time it's kind of transitioned to just like an online model, like with GTA Online.
Yeah.
I mean, we had GTA 5 re-released across 3 different generations, which isn't necessarily bad, but they didn't really add much to it except the online components of it. More
right.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that's kind of like how a lot of the industry is kind of like transitioning to, and you guys kind of talked about like microtransactions.
Absolutely. So basically, you're just wondering about like, I just want to make sure I got you right. So basically, you're saying how Rockstar Studios transitioned of the games that they had in the past to what they were doing now with GTA 5 and how they focused mostly on the microtransaction online side for the essentially the live service side.
Live services.
Yeah.
So it's like we could have probably spent a lot more time maybe like focusing on like other things. I mean, sure they have like GTA 6 that's on the horizon, but they could have been making like other things.
No, I'm sorry. You can go.
No, let me ask you real quick. Like, do you have what are your expectations for GTA 6?
I guess like for me, it's like for like the GTA games, yeah, they're a bit different in some regards, but they always have like a kind of like a story behind it.
Yeah.
GTA 5, it was a little bit different in that way because we had like 3 perspectives. A part of me is also expecting to kind of see that online model. I just hope it's not as prevalent as like it was like with 5.
Right.
They had like things they had like in mind for DLC, but that pretty much got scrapped to focus on the online component.
Well, okay. Well, there's. I guess one thing. Do you usually play online, or do you usually play for story?
I'll do a little bit of both, to be honest.
Okay.
It depends on the type of game it is.
Fair enough. Okay. The way I look at it is this. It's kind of funny. I feel like I say that way every time, but I think how GTA is a very interesting case. Rockstar is a very interesting case in myself, and even though that they are known for GTA, they have made other games like
LA Noire.
Yeah, didn't
they do LA Noire?
No, they did. Did they publish? Anyways, yeah, they did Red Dead Redemption, of course, but I won't count that because it's essentially the same game, just only in a different time. But Bully was a good one. Was a good one, as well as some other further classic ones though too. I think it's a very tricky case for GTA because how GTA 5, the way that they did the live services was spot on. They didn't expect people to pay, like to say for $4.99 or $5.99. They didn't do the microtransactions on the DLC or the content itself. What they did was they did the small little spurts of DLC that they did within it, and then they just released the content outside of it, and then they also included many stories and different kinds of things and attachments towards all of that, and it was working. And so basically all they had to do was just the maintenance for like the 12 years this game has been out on, and then people were just surprising on it. That game has been in the top 10 ever since it came out, which is insane to say.
That is insane.
It's hard for a game, especially like that, to have to keep up with to have a story to kind of keep up with that kind of level of upgrade per year after year after year. Because as you can know, they have to have a core story of what they're talking about, what they need to do. Then they have to branch it out to so far. It's a finite amount of time when it gets to that point. I think if it wasn't that successful with I guess because how super successful 5 was, and then they saw what they did it right, it's easy to say they're going to do the same thing for 6.
They're going to lean. If anything, I think they lean into it more and kind of focus on that. Because, I mean, again, that's been their cash cow, has been the online and people going. But the other thing, too, though, that you got to think about is, like, look how much extra content and stuff has come from that live service, from the extra things that people were able to do. Mm-hmm. I think it would be kind of, but I'm in the same boat as you, because, like, I remember there was one point in time where one of the Black Ops, it was either 4 or 5, didn't have a story at all. It was just online. I love the Black Ops series. And I didn't play it that long. I found myself missing having some sort of campaign or something, some sort of story to go to. It's like, it's cool to go on and play with my friends and stuff like that, but it's like, that gets old pretty quick, especially in shooting games for me. So it's like, just...
They release pretty frequently too for like Call of Duty. Also, I think it's part of it.
Wait, what's that?
They release pretty frequently too for Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah. That's true. That is true.
Yeah, I think the problem I'm worried about, because I think what they said with 6 was going to be they're going to have 2 protagonists in this one, right? It was going to be you can create a guy. It's going to be a guy and a girl. I don't know if it's a create your own, then you may want to be a little bit worried because when you do that, you know that there's not going to be any kind of dialogue or any kind of information and stuff going to be adding into it as the protagonist character. However, but it's really hard to say, because the one thing that Rockstar has done for all their games was a very strong in-depth story towards it. But I guess when the story is done, they don't want to expand on that because, like, I think it to me, I think it would cheapen it because, like, you go through all that because it takes you forever to get to that point. You're hitting about 80 to 100 hours to beat. It took me about like 90 hours to beat GTA 5.
I've never beaten a GTA in my life.
Yeah, exactly. Because
they're too big.
You get too engulfed in all the different stuff you can do. But what they did, the successful way of making it relevant was the DLC. Like the DLC wasn't like if you're expecting to have story like 5 years later, unfortunately there's not going to really be a way of kind of portraying it without kind of ruffling some feathers. And I'm kind of glad they did it that way. But I guess I'm kind of in a weird state because I don't know, since there's the little information they gave us with GTA 6 is so hard to be like, I want to be optimistic, but because of how everything else is around us, I feel like we're going to get screwed somehow. I do have enough faith to think that I think the Rockstar is going to still keep their presence when it comes to good storytelling for the story side. But it's inevitable. It's going to be focusing on the constant microtransactions and stuff that's going to be happening for the online services, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Appreciate it. Yeah, come on up.
Come up here. We're gonna do some.
Absolutely.
No,
that is. Anybody else have any hot takes? What's going on? How you doing, brother? That is. GTA is just a beast of a game in itself. But it's still crazy to me that the game has lasted as long as it has. That game's been out for what? 12 years?
I think it came out 2013. No, 2014. Maybe?
That's unheard of for a game, I feel, or not unheard of, but doesn't happen very often where a game has that kind of longevity. There's still content being created, now and people have found a new way. I love, to me, what they did really well with the open worldness, the live serviceness of it, was it gave people the opportunity to, essentially, they gave them a sandbox in this game. You can do whatever. You got people that are role-playing cops and, this and that. So, to me, I feel like a lot of game companies are kind of, look at even, so what I always look at, my daughter plays Roblox. And, I jumped in so I can understand Roblox and how it works and stuff like that too. And Fortnite then changed to where it seems more like Robloxy, where there's a bunch of, you've got this big game, but this big game encompasses a ton of smaller games. It gives people the opportunities to be able to create games within the game, and you're seeing that now with Fortnite too. I think you're going to see some more companies kind of leaning into that. I think GTA and Rockstar might be another one that looks into that and just keeps building on top of this thing. But at the same time too, it's I also want story. Yeah. I want new story too. So
I'm really a stickler to story.
Yeah.
I love RPGs though. That's why I love stories. That's good. Is there anyone else have a hot take? If you come by before, you can come by again and go from there. But if not, I'll give you another salty hot take of mine. All right. Okay, we'll do you and then we'll do her next again. Okay?
All right, so here's an actual hot take from me. I think the Switch 2 is actually pretty fairly priced.
Fairly priced?
Yes.
It was fairly priced. That's a good one.
Now, the issue, I think, with most people is that our economy is just kind of ass right now.
Yeah.
And people just do not have the disposable income.
Right.
For video games right now. And I think that's just part of the issue. But overall, for the specs it has, for what it does, it's actually pretty much right in a realm of pricing that I would consider. Honestly, if money is no issue, yeah, that's actually pretty fair pricing. But if you're really feeling kind of tight on budget, that's one of those things
Well, to be honest with you, yeah. I think. Oh, I'm sorry.
I would say I would agree.
We're just a little bit too crazy about yelling at people oh, gotta lower the prices.
See, I thought the price on the system itself, I think, is absolutely fine. I thought even before anything was announced, I was thinking probably 400, maybe 450 on the high end, which is around where it came to, inevitably. But to me, my issue with it is, if you look at the accessories, looking at the games, okay, And I'll tell you right now, I am a slut for Mario Kart. I will play every single one. I love them. I've been playing since the original. That in itself, I said I will get the Switch 2. If I can day one, I would love to. Strictly on Mario Kart. And I know that it is not, they have it priced as an $80 game. It's not going to be an $80 game. It's going to be like a $140 game. Because what they learned from this last iteration of Nintendo Switch, and I've been saying this for years, why don't they just build into the infrastructure of Mario Kart? Add tracks and stuff like that. Would we get this last one? They started adding tracks. They had the Game Pass and stuff like that. I can't imagine that they won't look to do something similar, if not more, within that infrastructure and build that out and bring more DLCs. So I will pay more and I will continue paying them as long as they're giving me new content. So so that makes me a little nervous, and not necessarily from the standpoint of Nintendo. What I'm nervous about is that all the other people are going to see these prices. Well, Nintendo did it. Yes.
Push out literal garbage, and he was like, look, Nintendo gets away with it because they actually put the work in their games. And
yes.
As much as people hate Nintendo, their games are bomb.
Yes.
But you see Sony and everyone else do that, where they're like $80, $90 games, and it's like maybe 4 hours of gameplay, and like it plays like ass. And it's like you get your money's worth with Nintendo.
Yes, absolutely.
But I think everyone will see what Nintendo is doing, and they'll try to follow that trend. Like, bro, like across seas, like a PS5, about $1,000 now. $1,000, but no game
right
now. And it's like that's the issue with Nintendo. Like when people see Nintendo do things, they get worried because everyone else is gonna follow suit.
Yep.
And they don't have the quality behind them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, I didn't actually mind. I don't mind the price. The price for the system is what I was expecting it to be, around $400 to $500, which is fine. And I believe the base console system was $449, which was a little bit higher, but I mean that's fine for the specs wise. But I totally agree. I totally agree with Smitty that it's the way that they're pricing the games, the accessories is insane to me. Like I saw, like to get a controller, like another dual controller is $90, and that's like it's ridiculous. And then what's even worse, and I think most people kind of over neglect this, is the storage. Like if you're wanting to buy the storage, cards itself are over $100. So like with the XC and stuff, so you're already paying, like the 512 is $100, and then you also get, if you want to get to 1 terabyte, it's $189. So like so those prices feel ridiculous, because like I can't imagine getting an SD micro card for that much, and then trying to justify it's like, oh, it's just two times faster. That may be the case, but no one's going to spend that kind of cash for just 512 gigs of space. I'm sorry, I don't know. This is Nintendo we're talking about, so God knows
People
what's going to happen. but
They got some black magic.
yeah. So like,
they're gonna like control.
oh, it's going to happen.
It's not gonna be like
It's going to happen.
PS5 game that's like 200 gigs.
Yeah,
right.
But some of the stuff that's really shady to me is like, for instance, you're buying a link, the Zeldas, the Switch 2 version of Zelda. If you had the original one, they say, oh yeah, you get the upgrade for free. However, you have to buy the DLC again. It's like,
that's
what?
insane.
What are you going to
That's insanity.
Yeah, like you're going to lose all that, and then you have to do it again. It's just insane. And then the fact that this game, like one of the Zeldas, is literally 6 years old, and then you're paying full price. You're paying $80 to get this stuff. Like some of these things don't make any sense to me. Especially Mario Kart. To me, Mario Kart, I think $80. Well, if they do a plan that's going to keep the justification, to justify the price. I can see, but it's hard to say that I'm going to pay $80 for a kart racing game. That's all I'm saying from the basis of.
I've got no problem doing it.
I know you do, because we already know where you stand on it. But like, and then how they're rating their like selling their, like putting the score or how much they're charging for, depending on what the brand is. I don't know if I'm on board with that either, because the new Donkey Kong game is going to be $70, brand new. But then like the new Kirby game is coming out. out, or the remake is coming out, it's going to be $80. It's like, so
Yeah.
it's all over the place.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so I'm like, there's no rhyme or reason of what they're going to do. And the downside of all of this, and this is the crazier side, Nintendo keeps their value. Like they don't, like, it's hard for Nintendo games to drop down in price. So like, so usually like Nintendo originals don't usually go down like to $20 or $30 or something. They used to have the thing called Nintendo Classics that do drop it down like to 20 down from what the original markup was. Unless you find it used, or unless you find it at a secondhand or like an eBay or some other store or something like that, you may get a good deal. But if you want to get a brand new marketing price or like retail price, it's still going to be an expensive game. So we'll see how that. Yeah. So I mean, like I said, that's the downside. The console marked perfectly fine. I'm fine with it. But it's just all the other stuff, the games, the accessories, and stuff like that. The shitty camera that it comes with. It's like the $50 is terrible.
I still can't believe they showed that, and I was just like, that's not a selling point, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
But thank you. Let's go ahead and get this. We got a couple more minutes left here before we have to wrap up.
So this one isn't actually my take, it's my brother's take, but he's too much of a card to come here.
Man, you put her like rolled under the bus and reversed back on them. My God.
His take is that Half-Life 3 shouldn't come out because it's never going to live up to the expectations.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, because it's tale as old as time. That game has been like said literally at this point over 20 years. So now it doesn't matter whoever picks it up. Every time when a game goes in this weird like limbo state and then it stays in that limbo state for a long period of time, it doesn't matter what level of expectations that you had for that game, it's never going to live up to it.
No.
Because it's to a point that the idea is now bigger than the execution. Right. So like, yeah, so now it's like, well, first off, Valve doesn't need to. I mean, Valve, has with Steam and stuff like that itself. They're printing money with just that in itself alone. And I feel like Gabe Newell is a smart man. I'm pretty sure he probably thinks that that's the reason why too. Because it doesn't matter that he has to have an idea that it doesn't matter what he does or what he says or if they do release it, he knows people are not going to be happy about it. Because now you got people that have been waiting after Half-Life 2 now are in their 40s and 50s and stuff.
Yeah, but what about Half-Life Alyx though? Wasn't that
was
like
a good game?
And I know because that was like exclusive VR, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that like that made it a lot harder too for people to get their hands on it, play it if you didn't already have the equipment to be able to do so. But I heard that was pretty good though, actually.
It was a good game, but the thing that made it good was that they didn't hype it. It just was when they released it, it was released, and they didn't say it was a 3 or a sequel. It was just part of the world.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So people were more forgiving on that. They were really just glad that it was like, oh wow, this is in the Half-Life world. Okay, cool. We're gonna play it, and then it was a good game. It was definitely a really good game. But if you're gonna slap a sequel to it, let's give a good example of this. Is Kingdom Hearts 3. Mm-hmm. Like Kingdom Hearts, like they were teasing Kingdom Hearts 3 for 14 to 15 years prior to that to come out. But during that time, they were releasing prologues, epilogues, continuations, and other stuff like that. And then at the same time, they were still pushing people saying 3's coming out, 3's coming out, it's coming. We're promising it's coming out. And then finally, when 3 came out, it felt outdated because of the way the system works. You already know where I stand with Kingdom Hearts. I hate it. But to say that you're a fan of of Kingdom, like the fans of that fandom was being pushed to say it's going to come out, and then they pushed it back for 15 years is not only unacceptable, it's just like, wow, okay, then that you're not gonna hit your expectations at that point.
Well, at that point, it's like I don't even want to play it anymore. I feel like you know what I mean? It's like
because people are just now gonna run with their different kinds of opinions of this is how the system's gonna, this is how it's gonna be, this is how it should be, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's not like that, or the systems are like, oh, this would have been cool if it came out during this time, but now it's like 10 years later, and it's like the system's outdated, and it's like, okay, it's too late.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, Half-Life, I think now is in that weird like RIP state, but now it's like it's nice to dream that they will do it. but it's like, but hold your breath about it. Like, I wouldn't even do it. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I'm to a point.
That is on my list, though. That is Half-Life is on my list for playthroughs because I have 1 and 2. I just haven't played them.
I think I'm just tired of it. Maybe I'm just like I'm on the last stage of like the last stage of it. It's just acceptance. You know, I don't know. I'm just like, you know, it is what it is. It's like if it comes out, it's not gonna hit to my expectations of what that game was gonna be.
Yeah.
This is less of a take and more of a question than as a follow-up. So you would say it's mostly expectation that would like ruin it? Because, I mean, going back to like Baldur's Gate 3, it was like several years after 1 and 2, and then a completely different studio does their take on 3, and it's liked by a majority of people. There's like some hardcore fans that are like kind of sad that it's not, it doesn't feel the same to them.
Right.
Well, okay, so
Where do you like find like the missing ingredient in that is?
Well, the missing ingredient was that I don't think Larian did 1 and 2. I think that was a different studio.
It was
it whoever did Never? Was it the group that did Neverwinter Nights? Was that Atari? No, but let me look it up.
Dragon Age.
Oh, it wasn't. I don't think it was.
Off the top of my head, it's been like a while.
Wait, the people that did Dragon Age, that was the people that did Anthem. BioWare, that was BioWare.
Is BioWare that did it? Oh.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate 1 and 2.
Oh.
Yeah. So like, I think that one is a. You know what? I think that one, the pass on that one is the fact that Larian basically took the Baldur's Gate IP and made it with their own style, mixed with what the Eternity their Eternity style, and then they just basically kind of gave the not, I won't call it the skin because it was really in depth on the stuff that you can do in that game.
Yeah.
But like I think that they had enough pull to say we're the studio that's making this game and we're going to do the way we want to make it. They didn't care about the backstory of 1 and 2 itself, and I think that the way that they did it to make it kind of feel like it was standalone. Like, I guess a game you could compare about that is Witcher. 1 and 2 are terrible games. I mean, they are not. You don't hear in the conversation. We need to play Witcher 1 and 2. No, like every time
I was told to skip 1 and 2 and just go directly to 3.
Play Witcher 3, even though it's the same studio and they do connect. They're like, no, just play Witcher 3. Don't even worry about 1 and 2 and stuff because it does stand alone to a point that it's like, okay, this is a good intro, a good entry point and stuff to the game. Even though, like I said, it all interconnects. But the expectation, I think that when it says an expectation of Baldur's Gate, I don't think there was any because prior to 1 and 2 came out like in PS2 era.
That was wild.
And we weren't expecting a 3 until Larian announced that they were going to make one. And literally maybe 5 years ago when they first announced we're making the Baldur's Gate, and then people are like, "Oh wow, yeah, I remember Baldur's Gate," you know, like, and got to that point, and then they're like, "Oh, that'd be cool to see it again." And they didn't make it. They didn't say it was a remaster. They didn't say it was a remake. It was a standalone, full-fledged game that to do it. So I wouldn't compare personally. I wouldn't compare Baldur's Gate comparatively to like the expectations of what a Half-Life was, because Half-Life cliffhangs you. Half-Life 2 cliffhangs you. They say, we're going to wait. We can't wait till Half-Life 3 comes out. That was 2002. I mean, you know, it's like, so no, we didn't, like, because when you play a Baldur's Gate, you're essentially playing a D&D campaign, and then once you're done with the campaign, and then there you go. Because you're not playing the same characters anyways. So it's kind of like, I kind of treat it like more like a Final Fantasy. Like, you don't have to play all of them and then just go with it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, though. Appreciate it.
Hey, but guys, thank you so much. Hey, when you're done, I want to get your shirt size. We're going to choose something here for you, too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, but guys, hey, thank you so much for the conversations. It was awesome to talk to y'all and geek out about games. It's really cool to kind of get it. I hope y'all feel a little bit lighter now. So now it's out there in the open. So, but guys, thank you so much for sharing with us. But if you did miss out on this episode, folks, you can always check us out on our website, confreaksgeeks.com. But we also release it on all podcast services. So definitely check us out. But so there's absolutely no reason to miss out on our sexy voices. Ooh. Guys, y'all enjoy the rest of your show at LvlUp Expo. And this is Davis Smitty signing out. Y'all take it easy.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, it's going.